garden to get dinner. I think we put this fence up because these chickens are chasing me all over. Hi, ladies. So we've had some unusually warm weather so far this fall, but I am out here to pick some broccoli for dinner tonight. I got quite a bit of weeds again. I might pick some Brussels sprouts too, but I'm super excited about this. This is the best broccoli I've grown. I'm really excited. Oh, I got some baby ones under here too. But I'm gonna pick the big heads off of a couple of these today. Jake asked me a few months ago for broccoli, so we put some broccoli plants in. So I was just gonna say I have some broccoli here that I picked. I have about 8 plants here, so I picked 3 of them so that we can try some broccoli soup tonight that my mom made while we were up visiting them a couple of days ago, and the kids absolutely loved it. So I'm gonna make a little bit of broccoli soup. Full disclosure, I've grown broccoli before, but I've never harvested it, either because one year it didn't grow, or the other time that I grew it, it was ready to harvest when we were away. So it was just bad timing. But today, I'm just so excited to finally pick some broccoli that we are going to be able to eat, and I cannot wait to try it. So you can see the broccoli that I picked, and I just cut off with a sharp knife the top crowns. So this right here is the biggest piece, and that's what I cut off the top. And you can see how there are other small pieces that will be able to be harvested later. So I did that on 3 different plants, leaving the smaller ones that are underneath to continue to grow. And then this one over here still has the big piece, and then some smaller ones underneath it. There we go, there's some smaller ones. And I still have a few more down this way. Brussels sprouts. And they're pretty small. They haven't really grown much this year. They're pretty short. But, and I've got a lot of those because we really liked them last year. They grew taller last year, but I did notice after we got back from visiting family for Christmas, and it's a little hard to see in this lighting, but the lighter parts, that's new growth. So I think now that the days might start getting longer, these might start growing a little bit better. My broccoli, I got my Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are still pretty small. Like some of them are really small. Some of them, this is a good size. But I wanted to pick them because sometimes if they get too packed in there, we've had a lot of rain, and sometimes they'll start to rot. This was the bigger crowns that I picked off of the broccoli, and I did pick some of the smaller ones. But I've got a lot of smaller ones still left on, so that'll be good. Some of these have a little bit of spots. I'll just take those leaves off. Food does not look perfect when it comes out of the garden, but I just get rid of the bad stuff, give it back to the chickens. But that looks really good, and I'm super excited to eat it tonight. The soup I'm gonna be making tonight calls for onions, and honestly, I don't use a ton of onions. I like to cook with them, but I don't always get around to it. So I've dehydrated some of these, and they've been sitting in my pantry just waiting for me, and they're perfect to go into soup and stews and all that stuff, because as they boil and cook down, they will reconstitute and get bigger. So I'm excited to try these tonight as well. I'm gonna chop up about 2 cups of broccoli into bite-sized pieces. Melt 4 to 8 tablespoons of butter so I can saute my onions. I'm using dried onions, but of course you can use fresh or frozen. That is 1 medium onion, or about a 1/2 cup of onion will work. And you're just gonna cook these in the butter until they start to get soft. I'm adding 4 cups of bone broth that we made with the chickens that we raised a couple of months ago, and then adding the broccoli to that. I'm gonna let the broccoli cook for just a couple of minutes and bring it up to temperature. It's nice and bright green. And now I'm getting my pan ready for the Brussels sprouts. I'm super excited about those. I'm just gonna fry them in some butter and add some salt and pepper to them. Add a cup of heavy whipping cream or milk into your soup. You can use milk if you don't mind the carbs and want a little bit less fat, or you can use heavy cream if you are trying to stay away from carbohydrates. Now I'm gonna add about 2 cups of cheese. Salt and pepper to taste, about a teaspoon of each, but keep in mind that the cheese has some salt in it and your broth may as well. Give everything a stir, make sure the cheese is melting. And this is my secret ingredient. It's super green blends that I make from greens out of our garden. Sweet potato leaves, muscadine leaves, spinach, kale, all the green stuff. I like to add that just to add a little bit more nutrients to whatever I'm making. And then I'm gonna thicken it with about a tablespoon of arrowroot powder, simmer it for another couple of minutes, and it's ready to serve. What about your soup?
Yeah, good.
What do you think about your Brussels sprouts?
Good. Sprouts way better than store-bought.
How about you?